Hello to all my viewers. This is Dr. Dhaval Maheta, and today we are going to discuss what is the level of detailing LOD in Tableau. Level of detail expressions are used to modify or control the level of detail that is known as a granularity of a calculation. Most fields and calculations are tied to the granularity of the view or of the data source. LOD expressions allow you to set the granularity of a calculation explicitly. Now let us try to understand the concept of granularity with the help of two charts. The first one, if I want to have a less granular, more aggregated data, I will be using the exclude function. If I want more granular and less aggregated data, then I will use the include function. Now we talk about the second chart. The first axis, that is the aggregation axis, we are having more aggregation here and less aggregation. Quite opposite to it is a granularity. Less granular data and more granular data. So if you want more aggregation, the granularity should be reduced. If you want less aggregation, then more granularity should, that is the granularity should be increased. Now you can see here that if we talk about the total aggregated data, and if we divide the data by using some dimensions, then it becomes granular. If we further increase the dimension into it, it will become more granular. Let me give you a very simple example to this. If I talk about the height of the students, then it is totally aggregated data. If I want to make it granular, I will divide the height, that is the average height between male and female. The granularity is increased. Again, I can increase the granularity by dividing the data in according to the grades, that is the first grade students male female, second grade students male female. So that way I can increase the granularity in my output. So depending upon the requirement of the researcher, you have to uh, either you want aggregated data or more granular. It has to be decided by the researcher. There are three types of LOD expressions: fixed, include, and exclude. Fixed LOD expressions establish a specific dimension or dimensions for the rest of the calculation, such as returning the maximum blood pressure for each patient instead of the overall maximum in the data set by fixing the maximum to the patient ID. I'll explain this concept of fixed LOD with the help of one example in Tableau. Let me pick up the segment from here and drop it into the columns. Let me pick up the sales from here and drop it into the rows. Make this as entire view. Now let us pick up the category from here and drop it into the color. Now hover your mouse on this one of the bars. The blue color represents the category furniture, segment consumer, and this is the sales figure of furniture category. This is the sales figure of the office supplies category. And this is the sales figure of the technology category. But these numbers do not represent the sales figure of the entire consumer. One, there is the addition of the sales of furniture plus addition of the sales of office supply plus of technology. So I want uh, an expression which is a sum total of all these three. How can I do it? There are two methods to it. First of all, let us see a little bit complex method. Create the calculated field. And I'll write down here fixed segment. Open the curly braces. And in this curly braces, write down fixed. Then write down segment. I'm fixing the segment. And then you write down sum of sales. Close the curly braces. Wait for some time. It's giving me an error. No need to worry. Possibly one of the bracket must be missing. Let me include it. The calculation is valid. Quite good. Click OK. So we have fixed the segment and it's sum of the sales. That is, we want a total of each segment, that is consumer, corporate, and home office. Click on OK, and it is generated. Fixed segment is generated. This is the first method in which you can create the fixed LOD. Second method, comparatively very easy. Let me delete this first. Now, pick up the segment from here and sales from here and click here. The multiple selections of the variables can be done with the help of Control tab on your keyboard. Now, click on Create LOD Calculation. Quite surprising. It will write the syntax for you. You don't have to write the syntax. It will write the syntax for you. Now, activate the fixed segment, or rather write down the fixed segment. Click OK. Now let's see what are the changes which will happen by including this fixed segment on the detailing or the tooltip. Either you can drop it on detail or tooltip. So let me pick up this fixed segment, the new measure which we have generated, and drop it into the detailing. Now let's hover our mouse on one of the bars. Now the additional information which is provided is 1161401. This figure will remain constant for the entire this bar. Basically what this figure is, it is a total of sales of furniture, sales of office supply, and sales of technology. Sales of furniture is 391049 plus 363952 plus 406400. It will give me the sum total of 1161401, that is the sales figure of the entire consumer. Similarly, it will also give me the sales figure of the corporate. The fixed segment is 706146 and here 429653. So this is a fixed LOD expression. Now we have seen what changes, or rather what type of output fixed LODs does on the chart. Let us see what changes it does on the figures. Let me clean this data set. Clear. Now I'll pick up the segment from here and drop it into the rows. Let me pick up the sales figure from here and drop it into the columns. From here, I'll activate the table. Again, pick up the fixed segment from here and drop it. At present, there are no changes which have happened. Both the figures are same. Now let us pick up the subcategory from here and drop it into this table. Now you can see the changes which have happened. The fixed segment sales, and in that the subcategory sales. So the consumer, its sales is 1161401, and in consumer subcategory accessories the sales is 87105. So this is the advantage which we get by using the fixed LOD. One more advantage is, that is, now I can calculate the ratios also, the proportion, share of each subcategory. So let me create the ratio. Again, I'll go here, create the calculated field, and I'll write down here ratio. This time I'll activate sum of sales. Sum of sales divided by sum of fixed segment. It contains an error, no need to worry. Let me include one more braces and the problem will be solved. Let us see, is it solving or not? Still it contains an error, no need to worry. So I think that here one bracket is missing. Let me include it. Yeah, done. The calculation is valid. Click OK. The ratio has been generated. The next thing which you will do is you will pick up this ratio, that is the aggregate ratio, from here and drop it into the table. You are not getting any dimension. No need to worry. Click here and go in the format. Convert this into the percentage. We can keep the percentage up to 2 decimals, whatever we want. So we can see the share of it. So this is the advantage of using fixed LOD in Tableau. Now let us see the include LOD. Include LOD expressions ensure that the dimensions that is not necessarily present in the view is considered in the calculation, such as looking at the average blood pressure for each patient, including the gender, displayed in a view that does not contain the gender information. So I'll give you one example to this to make you understand what is include expression. You can see here that in this Excel sheet, we are having consumer, its sales figure, assume it is in crores. So consumer, its sales figure, again consumer, its sales figure, corporate, sales figure, home office, sales figure, home office, sales figure. Now when I will generate the average of it, it will be based on all this sales figure. But what I want is, I want the average on the basis of the segment. That is the aggregate of consumer, corporate and home office. That it will not generate. So for this, let me copy this data to make you understand what is include LOD. I'll paste it here. I'll increase the view from here. And let me select this and activate the subtotal. So I want the segment. First of all, let me remove this. This is much better. So I want the subtotal of segment of sales. I think that it's clear now what we are trying to do. So this is a consumer total, corporate total, home office total, and a grant total. Our previous sheet calculates the average on the basis of this, but I want the average of 1, 2, 3. So you can see both the averages are different. This is 29.1661 because it is an overall average, and this average is on the basis of segment. The same thing I want to do in Tableau. So I will pick up the subcategory from here and drop it into the rows. And I will pick up the sales from here and drop it into the text, or I can drop it here also. So it gives me the sales in each subcategory. Now in analysis, I'll activate totals of, so the column grand total. So it has given me the column grand total. Now from here, if I activate the measure sum average, this 230, remember this figure 230, it is an average sales of all of them, right? But this average sales is not according to the subcategory, right? It is not according to the subcategories. I want this average to be according to the subcategories. So for this, I will have to go analysis, totals, and in this total, all using average. Can you see the number has changed? 230 is now replaced by 429 because this average is based on subcategories. So this, instead of doing this every time, I can use the expression include, and it will always calculate the average on the basis of subcategory. So I'll go here and create the calculated field. I'll name this as include LOD. Open the curly braces, include subcategory. Average sales. Close the curly braces. Wait for some time. When it displays the message, the calculation is valid, quite good. Click OK. So your include LOD expression is ready. Now let us clean this sheet and from here, I'll pick up the sales and drop it into the columns, right? Now I'll pick up the include LOD from here and drop it into the columns. You can see this is a sales. I'll have to change both of them, and I'll have to make it average. So click here, measure and average figure. So that was the figure which was 229. Now from here, activate, and I'll make this also as average, and this figure is 428. So instead of doing that calculation by using that analysis tab, we have created an include LOD. So this is the overall average, and this is the average based on subcategory. Similarly, you can also calculate the average based on region, average based on segment. All these possibilities are available to you. Now let me flip this bar chart. So this is an overall sales. I had given you an example, the average height of the students, right? And this is average include. So according to the subcategories, what is a sales? Can I make some changes here? Can I represent the number here? Yeah, quite possible it is. Activate in marks average sales and make sure that you drop sales into label of average sales only, right? And the number is represented. Similarly, here also pick up the include LOD and drop it into the label, right? But it is showing me the sum of the sales. No need to worry. Again, go here and make it average. So it will give me 229.9. Activate here also. It is giving me some change from here and make it average. So see 229.9 average sales, and average, that is this sales is according to the subcategory. Can I do something more? Yeah, it's fine. I can pick up the segment from here and drop it into the columns. So now this gives me the segment, consumer, the overall sales, and according to the category. That is a subcategory. Here, segment, and according to the subcategory. Here also, the overall sales of the home office and according to the subcategory. This is quite likely possible. Can I do something more here? Yes, it's also possible to include something more. I'll pick up the region from here to get more granularity. So let us pick up the region and drop it into the columns. I think things are clear for you that what we are trying to do. We are trying to increase the granularity, and the aggregation has been decreased. See, if we talk about first thing, this one, it is aggregated data. So this is this part, the first part, totally aggregated. Then we included the dimension in it, and it became granular. So what was the thing which we included? So we picked up the segment. The dimension was introduced. By introducing more and more dimensions, the granularity increases and the aggregation decreases. Let us pick up one more. Again, it became more granular and aggregation has decreased. The next LOD expressions which we want to discuss is exclude LOD. Exclude LOD expressions remove some of the detail from the view for the purposes of the calculation, such as looking at the average blood pressure for patients on certain medication without considering individual patients, even if the view is by patient. Let us try to understand this concept with the example in Tableau. I'll first of all clear this. We'll pick up the region from here and drop it into the rows. Press the plus sign, and I'll pick up the sales figure from here and drop it in this table. Now, what this table represents, that in the central region, the state of Illinois, its sales figure are there. But in the same table, I want the sales figure of the central region. That is the sum total of this without changing this figure. So at the same time, I should have a central, that is a central sum total, and according to the state also. So for this, I will require exclude LOD expressions. So what does that mean? That give me the sum total of the state, removing the state. Understand this concept, that I want the total of all of them, which I'll place after the central, and it should not include state in it, right? I only want the sum total of it. So I'll go here, create a calculated field, and I'll write down here exclude LOD. Now this time I'll use the expression exclude state sum of sales. Close the curly braces. Wait for some time. It contains an error. No need to worry. There must be one missing round bracket. Let us wait for some time. The calculation is valid and exclude LOD is activated. Click OK. Now I will drop this LOD nearer to the state. I'll activate this and make it discrete. And the numbers are ready. I want to do some changes here. How can I do it? Let's see. So I will click here and format. And in this formatting, I'll activate, let me activate the currency custom, and let us keep this as 2 decimal and click OK. Done. Now I'll pick up this exclude LOD expression and I will insert it between region and state. Let me increase the size. See. Now what output it generates? The central region, its sales figure. I'll have to change this and I'll have to make it dollar just a minute. Numbers, currency standard, display unit, dollar, that is 5. Okay. Now see, central region, its sales figure, and you can see in state what are the sales figure respectively. So if you do the total of this, you will be able to get this sum total of the central region, right? This is an exclude LOD expression which we are using. So this was all about level of detailing and granularity in Tableau. For more videos on Tableau, kindly subscribe to my channel. You can follow me on LinkedIn and Twitter. Please refer my playlist in which I already uploaded many videos on Tableau. Don't forget to subscribe the channel and press the like button.